Should be illegal.
The sarcasm just seeps through your pores.
I don't know what show. I feel it's great. Life couldn't be better.
Alrighty.
Oh, you know what? Hold on.
Make sure you hit record today.
All right.
Come on.
You know, it was my first time back to school. I was a little out of sorts.
Listen, I'm not making funny
happens.
for it. I'm just reminding you. That's all. It's less work for you in the next day.
Okay, I'm just writing something down. Okay. Okay, real quick in the beginning, we'll get the Zach Wilson shit out of the way. And I have a little statement on that in general.
Okay.
Yeah, you said not to spend. There's not much time to spend on it. It's just news, and it wasn't what they said, and I just have feelings now.
I do too, actually.
Yeah.
Hi, Michael.
Wow, Mike's jumping in early. Nice. NFL preview, NFL true and false. True or false, I should say. True.
I can't wait to play this game.
Listen, I love it. I'm excited. I have a bunch of them for you too. So.
One of my favorite things about this podcast is the random games we come up with.
Of course.
Without telling the other one about it. Yeah.
I was listening to a radio show on the way home, and the guys had something that came up, and it was like the 10 things that people hate most about their bosses. And it was just supposed to be a news item that they were going to say. And there's 3 guys that do the show. And they were like, do you want to turn it into a game? Because they have like a point system based on which was the one. And I'm like, yeah. I said, of course that. They were like, hell yeah, let's turn it into a game. It's like anytime you get a chance to do a game, you do a game.
Yep.
So absolutely.
Yep, I agree.
Then we got our college football review and then college football preview. Then we have our best bets segment. And you know what? Let me get the music ready. And then we have our best bets for NFL MVP. You understood what I was talking about with that, right?
I do. Yeah, it takes something
not necessarily
off the
who
board.
you think's going to win. Yeah, it's just like where's the good money? Where's the smart money?
No, I know 100%, dude.
So cool. Yeah, we're good with that. And then we have Hard Knocks. Oh, I got stuff to say about that.
I know.
And then we got some Yankee stuff by you.
Yeah, a little
mainly.
bit.
And then 79s. And do I have a story for you today?
And I'm going to keep track of our record as long as we go this year.
Okay,
this year we'll probably be terrible because we're going to keep track of it.
I know. But I know we had a winning record last year, but or a pretty more than winning record. But you know what we did? We often went like when you had a good week, I had a bad week. When I had a bad week, you had a good week. So it was a lot of wash. But anyway. All right, so let me press record before you get upset.
Yeah, it was like ride you early and then ride me late. It was like one of those.
We were very rarely did we both hit hot on the same weekend.
A lot of writing, I should say.
Yeah.
A lot of writing.
Yeah. We're good here. I'm going to make sure. Okay. What's up, everybody, and welcome to Bump and Run. I'm Pete Colasanto, joined as always by my good friend, Scott Bracey. What is going on, dude?
Good afternoon on opening night day. Sunny NFL, let's go, baby.
Got a game tonight. Got a game tonight, which is fascinating, which I'm sure we'll talk about when we get to our NFL preview. And obviously, we'll preview all the great games that are coming up this weekend. Some of the shitty games we'll leave alone. But you never know. They may end up being next week's review because sometimes the shitty matchups end up becoming some of the best games you'll ever find in your life. I have a major coaching announcement that I'm going to be making near the end of the podcast. So you'll have to stick around to see what kind of coaching gig I kind of stepped into that I wasn't necessarily looking for.
Wow,
but here I am coaching a game. And what we'll do is we'll keep track of how this season goes like we did a couple of years ago with the baseball. So there is a coaching announcement coming at the end of the show. We'll talk about that at the time later on. The big news this week, I mean, semi-big news, at least locally, it's kind of big news in the Northeast here. Zach Wilson will not be starting week 1, which we kind of knew, but the news part of it is kind of that it looks like he won't be starting until week 4. Saleh kind of kept it open-ended a little bit, saying, I'm the eternal optimist. You never know. He may come out to a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and we're just like, he's ready to go. But I got the sense that from listening to what he said, I feel like there's a little Zach Wilson doesn't mentally feel ready. Like he's not limping. The knee might feel fine, but he's a little, I don't want to use the word scared, but scared.
Hesitant.
Thank you. That was a much better word than scared.
I have a different take on this.
Oh boy, let me hear this.
I think Salah's an asshole.
Oh, wow. That's damn. Okay.
I think he tries to be so
2 minutes
cute.
into the podcast.
I think he tries to be so cute with the New York media. He's trying. You ever hear Brian Cashman on an interview? Doesn't tell you anything. Derek Jeter, Aaron Judge, don't tell you anything. Salah's almost worse than all of those guys.
You think he's trying to play him?
He was on Michael Kay the other day, and he had Kay and Don fired up that he would not tell him. He goes, Robert. It got so bad where, like, Michael calls me and goes, Rob, you're weekly on the show. You're supposed to give us a little bit of news. Come on, stop playing with us. 12 hours later, that news comes out.
Right.
He's like, well,
and that's
I don't
not
know.
cool because that's like your local station. Those are the big guys.
They do the Jets on the radio on 98.7.
I mean, you got
that's your Jet station.
If you're gonna break it, it should be on that.
It looks terrible, and asshole might be a little harsh, but the way that came off and how this news came off, and now he's only missing 1 week. He's missing 3 weeks. There's a lot going on there, dude. I don't know. I don't love it.
Yeah, I don't love it.
I feel bad for you guys as Jet fans. Seriously, I'm not busting your balls today.
No, I get it. And so here's what's funny about you being kind and saying you're not busting my balls. I've been about – I can't imagine that there's other than maybe Chris Sims. And now Troy Aikman came out last week and, or over the weekend or something and saying, I think this kid's got something. I think there's a special player in there somewhere. And I was kind of surprised to hear that from him. So there's very few Zach Wilson believers out there as much as me. And who's puffed him up as much as I have. I'm losing faith.
Yeah.
We see this all the time, right? Guy comes in the league, has all the potential in the world, and I'm less concerned about his play as I am about the fact that he's getting injured, and it's the same kind of shit. It's the knees. And what concerns me is timing is everything, right? Timing is everything. This was a big year. Brought in some new talent, brought in some tight ends, drafted more talent, drafted running backs. And you end up losing like the last 2 or 3 weeks of the preseason, and now you're not even going to play in the first 3 weeks of the regular season.
It's got a lot of Sam Darnold feel to it, my friend.
It really, really does, which is not good. That's not something that any Jets fan wants to hear. Man, this kind of feels like Sam Darnold. You don't want that. That's not good. And I'm being honest with you. I'm starting to lose faith in Zach Wilson. And frankly, it's funny you called him an asshole. I don't know if I'm ready to go quite that far, but I'm kind of losing faith in Robert Saleh too. So listen, it's the first game of the season, so I'm hopeful, and I would not touch this game with a 10-foot pole because my emotions just get in the way. But I am definitely starting to lose a little faith. And this is not just me now. I said this to you personally, not on this podcast, but personally, I said it to you, texted it to you a couple weeks ago, where I said, you can't keep doing this to me and I have your back all the time. You know what I mean? And again, it's an injury. It's not like the kid tried to do it or he's being a douche or he's holding out or anything. He's not being Aaron Rodgers or anything. No. I'm sorry. If you're not available, it's hard for me to root for you.
Yeah,
Chad Pennington. Jets fans love Chad Pennington, and they would have gone through a brick wall for Chad Pennington. But eventually you get injured enough and we're like, I really like this guy, but is there anybody else out there? You just I can't keep doing that for you, man. Like sooner or later you got to show up and produce. And Pennington was actually producing. Zach Wilson, we haven't gotten anything yet, or very, very little maybe at the end of the last season. We started to see some glimpses. So that's just where I'm at with it. It's like, hey, he might start week 1, and then it's like, nope, it's so bad, or he's so bad and off that it's really not till week 4. And it's like, wait a minute. That's such like a wide gap.
And I think
what happened?
I think Saleh should have went the other way with it. Monday to Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we heard, maybe he's on track. Maybe he's going to practice. Maybe he's going to.
That's what I'm saying.
And then to miss 3 games, go the other way. Listen, because if he plays, it's a icing on the cake. But listen, we don't know where we're at. We're going to play both guys, see how Zach feels. Boom.
Or just say, we don't know.
We don't know. And then if he plays, great.
But see, to say like we're going to try him at the beginning of the week, and to say we're going to try him in the beginning of the week and see how he feels, and now we know he's out 3 more weeks. Well, what the hell happened in that one day? You got to give me a little something to say. Well, what did you see on Tuesday that you didn't know on Monday? Because on Monday you thought there was a chance he can play on Sunday, and on Tuesday he's out for a month.
Right.
Like, Something. You got to give me a little like more than just we're gonna play it safe. What did you see?
Who do you play week 4? Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh, which is like really that's the game you want to bring them back against? One of the best pass rushing teams in the entire friggin' NFL.
My God,
that sounds brilliant. Anyway,
I'm really rooting for Douglas here, but this is starting to.
Yeah,
looks like there's a couple leaks in here now, dude. I don't know.
Isn't it funny that like there's not a move that Joe Douglas has made in the last 2.5 years that people are like, oh, that was stupid. But what will you be judged on? We've talked about this 1,000 times. He'll be judged on either Zach Wilson or if he somehow works something out to replace Zach Wilson. And then whoever he replace, if it's not Zach Wilson and he's fortunate enough to keep his job and replace Zach Wilson, I promise you one thing, that guy better be the guy. Or no matter what, Joe Douglas can get every other draft pick and every other free agent and every other trade 100% right. But if you get that quarterback wrong twice and you still don't have a franchise quarterback, you're going to be out of a job, which is bananas, right? Because he's done an amazing job. For a 2.5-year stretch, he's done as good a job as anybody as in building personnel.
Definitely.
But if you don't get that right, if you don't get that quarterback right, it doesn't matter.
You can't win games.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
thank you. Because you can't win in this league without a real legit starting quarterback.
Broncos, sir.
Yeah.
Last 4 years.
So I'll be honest with you. It has happened already. I am starting to lose faith, not in Douglas, but in Zach and, frankly, Robert Saleh. I just am. It is what it is. Let's hit our NFL preview this week.
Tonight.
By the way, wait, before we go, I totally forgot to announce this is officially the start of season 3 for Bump and Run Sports Podcast. Our first season kind of started in the middle to end of the NFL season. And we kind of start a new season as the NFL starts its new season. So this is our third NFL season together as a podcast, which when you think about it is pretty freaking unbelievable. Very 79 cool. Episodes will be today. So season 3 of BNR. Let's do it.
Tonight, the Buffalo Bills go to Los Angeles to play the Rams, a 2.5-point favorite on the road against the defending champions.
I am just baffled by the spread. You're talking about a very good football team. I'm not trying to take anything away from Buffalo, but you're going out to the West Coast week 1 against the team that won the Super on a Thursday night. They're going to be against a Super Bowl winning team. They're going to be unveiling their banner or whatever. There's going to be a lot of hype, stands back, and they're 2.5-point favorites. And that line hasn't moved, by the way, which should tell you something, right? Like Vegas is telling you, first of all, the money is pretty balanced, number one. But the fact that it was 2.5 points tells you Vegas thinks that Buffalo is a better team, which is freaking unbelievable. I mean, it says something. Josh Allen is a front runner for league MVP, which we'll talk about stuff like that a little later. I don't know. Are they the favorite to win the Super Bowl this year? They are. So it's amazing to me. They're 13 seconds away from, playing the Cincinnati Bengals last year for the AFC Championship, but they lost that game. And, there was a bunch of games. They lost the first game of the season to the Steelers last year. This is not a team that had a perfect season last year. There were some weird losses last year. So I don't know. And it's not to say that I don't think Buffalo can go in there and win that. Of course they could. But to be favorites, I don't know. Are you surprised by that? Not as much as me, it sounds.
Yeah,
looks like.
A little bit. I think if it was more of a pick'em game, I'd be kind of understanding about that. I think pick'em's a fair number.
You don't think the Rams, who won the Super Bowl, picked up Robinson,
What have you heard all offseason? Stafford's elbow.
I know, that's
OBJ.
True. You think there's more to the shoulder or the elbow than that?
Yeah, running backs have some soft tissue injuries. Von Miller's gone. Now he's on the other side tonight.
That's true.
So there's a lot of some things there.
All right. Listen, I think it'll be a fascinating game. Great quarterback matchup. Great head coach matchup. McDermott is one of the few defensive coaches in the NFL that I think is doing a good job. Plus, new offensive coordinator for Buffalo. So, there's a lot going on there. It's going to be
Miami Hurricane legend Ken Dorsey.
Dude, I'm just telling all you guys, if you get to watch this game tonight, think of the treat that you get. I mean, this is as good a game as you're going to get the whole weekend, and you get it solo on Thursday night.
I think I'll have a beer or two tonight. What do you think?
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
Sunday, 1:00, Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cincinnati Bengals. Division rivalry and Super Bowl runner-up. Get the host right out of the gate.
I hear a lot of talk about Cincinnati like taking a dip this year. I don't get it. I don't see it. What?
I agree totally with you.
Yeah, well,
I don't see it either.
Well,
I think they got better.
I think what people are doing is they're going off this idea that like, well, the team that loses the Super Bowl usually doesn't play well the next year, which is absolutely true. But you have to look at what kind of teams normally make the Super Bowl. They're usually veteran teams, a lot of veteran guys. They've been on this long journey, and if you lose, it's kind of this letdown, and you can almost like see them thinking like, man, are we ever going to get this chance again, and all that kind of stuff. That's not the Bengals. This is a very, very young football team. Most people thought they weren't even sure if they would make the playoffs last year. So the idea that like, they fall into that same pattern of I'm just looking something up here of the old, they lost a Super Bowl, so they're going to miss the playoffs kind of thing. They don't fit that pattern. So I think that's a bad idea. And listen, and the Steelers are starting Mitch Trubisky. So, that's enough said right there.
Steelers are stacked everywhere else except questionable at quarterback.
And offensive line. Their offensive
line's a little weak as well. You're right.
Defensively, they're
Bengals got better in the secondary and they got better at the O-line. The two things they need to get better at, they did.
Dude, those are literally the two things you said last February when we kind of did like what do these teams need? We're looking at the offseason preview, like who would you want? And they literally did exactly what you said. So yeah, they look to be improved. And now you got a Super Bowl contending quarterback still on his rookie contract in his third year, loaded with confidence and like scratching, chomping at the bit to get back to that Super Bowl. Yeah, they're gonna have a good season. They're gonna have a really good season.
This one might not blow your socks off, but for selfishly, because me and you, we love this. I think we like both teams actually. Philly at Detroit.
Well, so we like both. We like things about both for sure. I think we both are just like intermittent fans now of Detroit because of what we talked about last year, frankly, and then with Hard Knocks, it's just hard not to. Yeah. It's just really hard not to. And we both like Sirianni and the adjustments that he made.
Yep.
And then Jalen Hurts is just a hard guy not to root for.
Yep.
I mean, he just is because he's a hardworking son of a bitch. He's not afraid to take hits. He's built like a freight train at quarterback. The truth is they're both fun teams to watch. I thought about this game and I'm like, I can't even believe I'm sitting here saying I want to watch a goddamn Detroit Lions versus Philadelphia Eagles game. Like I have real interest in that game. Usually I don't even see. I just skim on by anything that had to do with Detroit. And now I'm like,
interested. I was looking to go to Ann Arbor for a Michigan game this year, and they're playing Hawaii at night on Saturday night. I've never been to a night game there. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't going to work out because I have a Yankee game tomorrow, and Derek Jeter's throwing out the first pitch and shit, so I couldn't I couldn't swing it. But I was going to stay for the Lions-Eagle game. I was going to look for tickets and stay Sunday through Monday because I'm so intrigued by it now. Like
I know, it's unbelievable. We're going to talk about Hard Knocks a little later, but Scotty and I both, as we watched Dan Campbell get hired and then kind of made fun of, and then their season unwind with like them really playing hard, and then in an off season, we've talked about this multiple times about how their players were talking about how you want talking to free agents saying, hey, you want to play for this guy, man. Yeah, I'm in. Yeah. I'm in. So, and we've already said that about the Eagles, that we're intrigued and impressed by their coaching staff and by some of the things that they've done. This is a team, by the way, the Eagles 2 years ago, or really before last season, as I'm down here in South Jersey, which is very much Eagles country. I mean, they were ready to string up, who's their GM there?
Oh, wow. Oh, Jesus Christ. Not
Dallas. They were ready to string him up by his boots.
Yeah.
They were just done with him. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but Philly fans will know who I'm talking about. Even the owner. And they stuck with their plan. They stuck with their system. And frankly, we're a year ahead. The fact that they made the playoffs last year, interesting. So, yeah, it'll be a fun game to watch. They're two really fun teams. I don't know that either one of them has any kind of like real championship caliber yet, but
Roseman, yeah, thanks, Dean.
Roseman, yeah. So they'll be fun to watch. They'll be really fun to watch.
Another rivalry game, Green Bay at Minnesota. Green Bay replacing star wide receiver Devontae Adams. Great run game, great O-line, and this is where the defense, I think, really takes a step up. I think they have 9 first-round picks on that defense. I think they have to carry this team for a little while Rodgers gets used to their new receivers.
This week, who they playing?
The Vikings.
Yeah. The best part about this is this is the matchup in the division. We both like the hire with Minnesota going an offensive coach, going in an offensive direction. We like their wide receivers. We like the running back, Dalvin Cook. We like the direction they're going. And then we look at Green Bay and you say, well, they lost 2 of their top receivers. Aaron Rodgers is a douchebag, and he's like very difficult to root for. And to get that kind of interdivision rivalry game right off of week 1, right in the first weekend. You're going to have a pretty decent idea of how the division's going to go.
Yep.
Like where's that game being played in Green Bay?
At Minnesota.
Oh yeah, I mean that's going to be. We got some really good games this week.
I tell you,
got some really good games.
They make it really tough for suicide pools, bro. I'm like,
oh man.
We'll go out west. Kansas City Chiefs at the Arizona Cardinals.
I am very much looking forward to this game because a lot of talk about because the Chiefs lost Tyreek Hill. Well, they're not going to be the same offense. Okay, sure. Have you seen that with Aaron Rodgers over the last 14 years? Like receivers come and go, and he's still one of the best. We could say it with Tom Brady. Great quarterbacks make wide receivers great. I've said this a million friggin' times, okay? Don't worry about the Chiefs. They're going to put up some points. Now, will they do that in the beginning of the season? I don't know. And the one thing we do know about the Chiefs is like they don't always start off really great defensively. They usually figure it out by the end of the season, but not early. But yeah, Arizona's missing some guys, right? They're missing
Hopkins is out, yes, sir.
Yeah, so
Chandler Jones is no longer on the team. JJ Watt's 100, so they got some issues themselves.
There's some issues there, but yeah, it's a great matchup, and it'll be a great thing to see. Like, are the Chiefs ready to put up points early? Have they been able to work out some of the kinks during the offseason, during the preseason? So, and then you still, got the whole Kyler Murray. He's a weird dude. Was kind of holding out, like all the chaos that he caused in the offseason. Like, will that have an effect? So there's that part of it too. God, there's so many great storylines. Jesus Christ.
It's great. It's great
we
sport.
Just have week 1 every week.
Great league.
Holy shit.
We'll stay out west. Another rivalry game. The Raiders at the Chargers.
So you predicted that the Chargers would win the division. Am I correct?
Yeah, a lot of people are starting to jump on that wagon.
Well, let's say that this is the second year in a row that you made such a prediction. Listen, it's the most fascinating division in all the NFL because while we might be mildly surprised if, say, the Raiders won the division, you wouldn't necessarily just by looking at their roster. Like, these 4 teams are really talented with really good quarterbacks. Let me think about it. You probably have 4 top 10 quarterbacks in one fucking division. Like
it's 11 or 12
shit,
tops.
Dude.
Yeah.
There's 32 there's 28 other teams. Like, it's pretty crazy, So it'll be a great. Is that a 4:00 one?
Yes, sir, it is.
Yeah.
4:25.
Yeah. So, will Staley make some weird 4th down calls? He says he's still gonna do that kind of stuff. Okay, good luck with that. You're gonna get criticized then. Be ready for it. You want it to cost you your job? You want it to cost a playoff spot? Okay. You know better than everybody else. That's the stuff that scares me, man. We look at Belichick. We look at Belichick saying, I'm going to use multiple guys. Okay. You know better than everybody else in the history of the sport. Okay. You can't question Belichick because he's Belichick. Well, I question Belichick. How about that? Fuck off. Suck it. There you go.
I got one more for you, pal. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the saga that is Tom Brady's offseason. In year 23, dude, think about that for a fucking second.
It's bananas.
Year 23. At everybody's favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys.
Right, America's team, right? So what's interesting is that we've come to learn now why Tom Brady took off those 10 days. It looks like Gisele Bündchen is not thrilled with the idea that he's still playing football.
She's a little salty.
So she took off. I don't know if she's down in like Peru or Colombia or somewhere down in South America. She just bolted, and he's like trying to figure it out. What does that tell you about what goes on between the ears of Tom Brady.
Mm.
Like, you got all the money you can ever want. You got 7 championships. You got the hottest wife, like beautiful kids. You got it all. You got it all. There's nothing left. And yet at 45 years old, you're still playing, even though your wife leaves.
Yeah.
It's crazy, right?
It is.
But on the field itself, dude, there are some real questions in Tampa. They lost like 3 starting linemen to injuries. Godwin is back, but not back. Like, is he even starting week 1?
I don't know, actually.
I'm not sure. Michael
Evans?
Oh, I forget his name every
time.
Michael Evans is like banged up, practice here, not practicing there. Probably going to play, but who knows what's going to happen. There are definitely some issues there, man. And I wonder if some of that time that he took off was like, am I really going to do this? Like, I don't know. I don't know if this team. So we shall see.
Todd Bowles is the coach.
I know. It's interesting. And but I'm not a believer in the Dallas Cowboys either. So where's that game?
Dallas. Sunday night, bro.
Yeah. It should be an interesting game. We're going to learn a lot. We're going to learn so much. The week 1 is really
next
we learn
week.
so much.
Tune in for
and then we overreact. So we'll overreact like sons of bitches when we do the review next week. And then everything we say will be totally wrong.
We'll hit this later too in our bet segment, but tough week to pick. Tough week.
It was a tough one, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I think I have some winners though for you. So when we get to the best bets, everybody get your pens and pencils out and open up your wallets because we will give you some winners.
College football.
Not yet.
What do you got?
It's time for NFL True or False.
Oh, all right.
NFL True or False. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a statement. And you're going to tell me whether it's true or false.
Okay.
And you can tell me why. Of course, you can expound on why you feel that way. All right, and I may comment too.
Is this proven facts or just are between me and you?
This I'm going to make a statement, and you're just going to tell me whether it's true or false.
Okay.
Not like trivia.
Okay.
You'll understand what I'm saying. So I'll give you the first one here. Bill Belichick is no longer a top 5 coach in the NFL. True or false?
False.
False. Okay, so McVay is better than him or no? At this point.
I'll give you McVay, Reed.
Yep. About Shanahan.
No. Tomlin, nah, he hasn't been great lately either. Johnny Harbaugh maybe. Johnny Harbaugh maybe, and I think that's it. So I got Belichick probably a 5.
So you got none of the guys. You just got
I got Andy Reid in the West.
Reed.
I know where you're going. Yeah, I got Reid.
So you don't. So you won't say. Who's the head coach? Green Bay.
No, LaFleur. No, I won't do.
3 straight years of 13 wins.
And his quarterback has back-to-back MVPs. So what does that tell you?
You give him Belichick.
No Super Bowl appearance.
Years.
No Super Bowl appearance.
Neither is Belichick.
Andy Reid's won one and did it with 2 different guys lately, with Alex Smith and Mahomes.
I don't know.
2 different places.
I'm trying to think of the rest.
Listen, and I can't knock Belichick out until we see a stinker. Honestly, they made the playoffs last year with a rookie quarterback. No weapons. I don't know, man. I don't love him either, but I can't disrespect him.
Statement number 2. If Trey Lance remains QB1 for the San Francisco 49ers, will they miss the playoffs? So if they just stick with him and he starts the whole season and he plays 15 to 17 games, whatever it is, depending on injuries or whatnot, will they miss the playoffs?
No.
So if Trey Lance, San Fran will miss the playoffs. That's false. You think they can make the playoffs with Trey Lance?
If he starts the whole year, something went right.
Or they're just sticking with their guy.
Yeah, I'm going to go the other way.
So you're going to say true, false.
If he's the quarterback throughout, then him and Shanahan gel. Then he figured it out, and they had a good year.
Okay. Statement number 3. The Kansas City Chiefs are in the AFC Championship game again.
False.
Who is? Now there's 2 teams.
Bengals, Chargers.
No Buffalo. Chiefs have been in an AFC Championship game, 4 years in a row?
Yep.
And you're just Cincinnati and a team that didn't even make the playoffs last year.
That's why Bump and Run is the fucking best show.
You're so bold. You're so bold. I'm going to say true. That's a true statement. They will be in the AFC Championship. I'm not sure who with, but until you knock the champs off, I gotta imagine.
I understand that.
Imagine saying that for the last 20 years before.
Listen, I'm all in on this fucking Charger bandwagon. I gotta write it somewhere.
Oh my god! Yeah, pushed all his chips are in the middle of the table here, folks.
I gotta pick up my own mouth.
All right, here we go. What is this, number 4?
Yeah.
The New York Football Giants will have a better record than the New York Jets.
Can I push that?
Well, sorry, you broke up on that one. Say it again.
Both 6 and yeah.
Nope.
I said, can I push that? Both
nope.
6
The
and 11.
statement is the Giants will have a better record than the Jets.
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, because I think their schedule's easier than your guys. Because they don't play the AFC either, bro. They gotta.
And they have a weaker division.
Right.
I don't want to hear that shit.
Sorry.
I don't want to hear that shit.
Listen, let's keep your bad mood going. You started the show.
I know you're killing me. You're killing me. All right, next statement. Here we go. You ready? Jameis Winston will throw for more than 25 touchdowns. True or false?
True.
Ooh, so you think he's going to play full season coming off the knee?
True.
You're happy with Michael
Thomas?
Michael Thomas.
I like Olave.
Mike Dean says false. We got Mike Olave coming in.
Chris Olave.
That's what I said. Yeah, Chris.
Jarvis Landry. Kamara out of the backfield. Oh, I'll take this going away. Fuck Mike Dean.
Next statement. Now, I'm going to preface this one by saying I alluded to the fact that
Mike, I kid.
Oh, he knows. He's got thick skin. I alluded to the fact that this team has some injuries, like a lot of major injuries. So statement number whatever. Next statement. Tampa will miss the playoffs.
Kind of like you with the Chiefs, dude. I'm not gonna go against them until they prove it. So I'm gonna go false there.
So you're gonna think I'm crazy. I'm gonna say true. I
don't hate that guess.
There's just way too much chaos right now for me. I don't love the fact that Tom retired and then came back and then he had to take off 10 days because trust me, when your wife is in your head like that, man, that's not good. That's one thing. That's the chaos side of it. The whole way Bruce Arians went out. I don't know if that caused any division in the locker room. We won't know. But then the idea that there's so many guys that are injured on this offensive line, that bothers me maybe more than anything. You got the wide receivers. I don't care. Tom Brady can throw to anybody. He'll figure that shit out. But if you're not protecting Tom Brady, that's a problem, dude. That is really a problem. And I think there's going to be some serious issues with them protecting Brady. And then that causes that, vicious cycle thinking of, should I have done this? Should I have come back? What did I get myself into? Why am I doing this again? I have nothing to prove. I honestly think there's a really good chance, like a 50% chance that Tampa misses the playoffs this year. And that's why I just think there's too many check marks going in the other direction for me.
I got one for you, and I don't know if you have it written down.
Oh, love it.
True or false? Will this be it for Tom Brady?
I think it's true. I think he's done. I don't think he wants to lose his wife. I mean, at some point.
I don't know before this. I think he might have given another shot, but I think now.
Yeah, I think it's just too much.
I think it's too different.
Much. True or false? The Rams will return to the Super Bowl. Dum dum dum.
Wow.
Tough one, right?
The problem is, I don't love anybody else in the NFC.
That's the thing, right?
God damn it.
But it's a big ask to get back to the Super Bowl.
It's crazy.
Man. That's a big ask.
There hasn't been a repeat champ in, 19 years?
Who was the last one?
Patriots. And then before them, the Broncos. I'm going to go false just because there's so many factors going on. Like you said, there's a lot going on with them too right now. I
said it to you last week. Like, it's funny. We look at the Rams as a dominant team and blah, blah, blah. they won every one of their like playoff games, like in the fourth quarter on a
In the
last drive. Like,
yeah, I
by the
know.
skin of their teeth. This is not like a runaway championship
right,
team.
dude.
But you make a great point that what else is in the NFC? Like what and who in the
So
NFC
many.
like kind of scares you? There's
So
really
many question marks, man.
So it's a tough one, but it's just so hard to even just get back there. I'm not saying win. I'm just saying to get back to the Super Bowl. It's all hard, man. That's hard. Guys go to whole careers and never even get to play, or play once, lose, and never get back. And think of Dan Marino, who's considered one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Got there once, never got there again.
Laces out, Dan.
Next statement. I got two more here for you.
Okay.
I love the last one, by the way. I like this one too, but I love the last one. Cliff Kingsbury will not be coaching the Cardinals in 2023. True or false?
That's a good one.
So this basically comes down to, do you think that they're going to repeat the late season swoon that they tend to go through almost every year? And if they do,
and now they have Hard Knocks coming in mid-year.
So you'll get a little insight as to who's a douche and what's going on and how much do they baby this guy and that guy. And
I'm gonna say false, because I think he's got a couple of excuses written in already this year. Hopkins missing the first 6,
but nobody's going to care about that in week 17.
Yeah, but if you start off 2-4, you will.
You're not going to care in week 17. You're not going to be like, well, we missed the playoffs, but we missed Hopkins the first 4 weeks or 6, whatever, how many weeks it is. But I get it. I hear what you're saying.
I think they're going to figure it out this year, second half. I do. I think they're going to.
So positive. Glass half full, Scotty, today.
This is rare.
Wow.
You're
going to say it's false. That you're saying it's a false statement.
Yeah, I'm going to go false. I think.
Okay. So you think he'll be the head coach?
I think that Kyler Murray, even though he's a little peckerhead, they got the contract straightened out with him. If he studies more film going forward, I think Cliff will be back next year. Yeah.
All right, final one. Davis Mills will have more 300-yard passing games than Tua Tagovailoa. True or false?
True, definitely true. 2 reasons.
With all those weapons in Miami?
2 reasons.
Okay, I'm listening.
1, the Dolphins' new coach, he wants to run the ball and do a bunch of wacky shit, screens and all kinds of stuff. And
got a lot of weapons there, though.
I understand, but you're the one that hates Tua's arm more than anybody.
Oh, this is true.
Number 2, the Texans are going to be losing in every game.
Sit
back and chuck it around.
I was thinking that exact same. I was like, the reality is they're going to be losing a lot of games and they're going to have to throw the ball to try to come back. So, yeah. I threw that one in there because, you and I like Davis Mills a little bit. I pointed out that I think he had 3 or 4 at least 300-yard passing games last year, but he doesn't have nothing near the talent to throw to that Tua does. And that makes you think, doesn't it? Like if you were Miami or something like that, like let's say Davis Mills does do that.
Right.
If you were Miami, would you want Davis Mills or would you want Tua?
Exactly. I know.
Like big, strong, big arm, smart kid, went to Stanford. Not that Tua's dumb, but I mean,
athletic enough to like move around and do what you want to do.
Yeah. Or do you want this little 5'11", little weenie guy with a rubber arm? Like, I don't know. So, but yeah, that's funny. All right, that's all of them. That's what I got there.
All right, I liked it.
Fun. College football preview, sir?
College football last weekend, Thursday night, started off with a banger. We actually I covered my first game.
I was wondering, Jeff, 7.5?
7.5 by a hair on my chinny chin.
Jesus. I thought you texted me before the game was over. I'm like, oh, shit, did he text that way too soon?
Bro, I did not. But you know what happened? Did you see the game? So
I didn't see. I fell asleep, so I was too late for an old man like me.
First time in 11 years they played, which is ridiculous. That's a story for another day.
That is dumb.
Pitt 38, West Virginia 31. And West Virginia's up 31-24 with about 6 to go.
Right.
Pitt goes down, scores. I'm like, let's get out of here. Somebody kick a field goal and let's get the fuck out of here. West Virginia, they get like a 2nd and 10. They throw like a 15-yard comeback route. Guy's wide open. Like a wet sausage right through his hands. Pick 6. I'm like, oh, my God. I'm like, now it's set up for catastrophe.
Oh, man.
You're flipping it back, Hail Mary, picks, strip, sack, fumble. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. But no, but West Virginia kind of got some plays, and they went down, and they almost tied it. They almost tied it.
I forgot what the spread was. I'm like, I knew, is it 7 or 7? Like, I knew it was over there, but yeah, good.
Not
call
like
by
starting
you.
New Year with a win, baby. That was nice. Yeah. And then switching channels after that game ended, Penn State Purdue with a beautiful game.
Tough game, right? Yeah, I think Penn State got more than they bargained for in that game, although they did come away with the win, which was big for them.
They should have won.
You have the score there?
35-31. They should not have won the game.
No, you're right.
Our buddy Jeff Brom in Purdue is an absolute maniac. I know they like throwing the ball, but they had a couple chances to run up the clock, and they just refused to do it. Listen, if you try to run it and you don't get stuff, all right. We didn't even try to do that.
Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing, dude?
Well, sometimes you just know you're up against it, and you're not going to get those yards. Well, I don't know.
Well, listen.
But then when you lose, it's a bad look. It's a bad look.
Yeah.
If it works out, great. You're smart. You did the right thing. You knew your team. But if it doesn't work out, it's like, dude, why didn't you just run the ball?
I'm not overly impressed with Penn State again. Their running game's a little better.
I gotta be honest, I'm a little disappointed in their defense. This is supposed to be linebacker U. Yes. They're known for a defense, not for anything. What was it, 35-31?
Yeah.
Like against Purdue? No offense. You're not a contender. 35-31.
They have a first round draft pick in Joey Porter's son, Joey Porter Jr. Very good player. Physical, big. Name, obviously, you'll get him looked at even more. Very good player. But other than that, man, I agree. They got one defensive tackle that's pretty good stuff in the run. He came back after getting hurt last year. He's got a crazy name. Mustafa, I think his name is. Pass rush is weak. I think said linebackers, man, a little slow getting the ball.
If there's anything that Penn State was always known for, it was having a strong defense.
But let's keep kissing James Franklin's ass. He gets no bullshit like Harbaugh did and Scott Frost did for a little bit while now.
It's so funny you say that because I was just thinking in my head before you said that, like that contract is looking worse, literally week by week by week that they gave it, basically like $100 million contract. It looks worse every week, like terrible. Since they gave him that contract, he's got a sub 500 record. It's like, good call there. You're not getting out of that one either. You're not getting out of that one.
Saturday, a couple stinkers. Georgia blows out Oregon. We don't really got to talk much about that. Just Georgia reloads.
Very disappointing. I missed the over on that one because Oregon can't store any points, and now we know Bo Nix isn't just bad in the SEC. He's just bad. He's just not a good quarterback. So.
Ohio State, Notre Dame hung around. Their offense is brutal.
Well, is their offense brutal, or is Ohio State just that much better? Chance.
Dude, you watched that game.
Yeah. I was very impressed. You know what's a funny thing is we looked the last how many years has like Notre Dame been in the hunt to make the playoffs or then make the playoffs and then get blown out because they can't hang. The fact that their defense hung with Ohio State, I know Njigba got hurt and didn't come back. I was actually pretty impressed with Notre Dame. I got to be honest with you.
Defensively, I was.
Yeah. Definitely. Because that's the one thing they've never been able to stop these big offensive schools, and they did that. But then that's the game they decide, they can't put any points. And we knew this. We both knew and talked about how they're going to struggle offensively. You don't have a quarterback. You don't know who your quarterback is. You're going to struggle.
I was a little down on Marcus Freeman. Like, I don't know if like the rah-rah, like a little Dan Campbell-ish. 36 years old. It wasn't really a coach for that long.
Right.
I think he's going to be fine. I
kind of changed my
tune on him a little bit. I think he's going to be okay. They could possibly run the table here now. I don't know. The Clemson game's going to be very good, obviously.
What game?
And USC, Clemson. And USC would be a great game too. Yeah. So, but I think they're only going to grow offensively from there, and their defense. Yes. They play Marshall this week. You'll get Wright playing them.
It's a tough spot to really get a good read because, as we said last week, Ohio State for the last couple of years has not played good defense at all, but yet they get a lot of guys drafted in the NFL, so there's like talent there. And we talked about how the defensive coordinator came in from Oklahoma State. Is it possible that he just made that much of a difference? It's possible. Right. And then we're not really getting a great read of Notre Dame's offense because you're going up against what now may be a very good defense as opposed to kind of a poor defense. So right. I think we need more information. I think to your point, more than anything, they're going to improve from week to week. They're going to improve as the season goes on. But I'm not quite ready to say how good or bad their offense is just yet. I need a little more information there.
And I'm not ready to say how good Ohio State's defense is just yet either, by the way.
I totally agree. That's good point. Just as much on that side, because maybe Notre Dame's offense is that bad. and you just stopped a really bad offense, which makes it even worse because it was close. It was what, 21-10 was the final?
Yeah.
When's the last time Ohio State scored
for a long
21
time.
points? I mean,
it's been like 6 years, I think they said.
Yeah. So,
One of the best games of the weekend, Florida 29, Utah 26. Utah goes in across the country for a nightcap. Florida's quarterback, man, my goodness.
I was just going to say you have probably have your Heisman frontrunner or Heisman candidate already in Richardson. He's big, strong, like got a cannon for a fucking arm. He's a good looking player, dude. I'll tell you what. How he didn't play last year. And this is one of those things.
Hence why Dan Mullen got fired.
Yeah, but this is one of those things where I say, you know what? I don't know what was going on in the locker room. I don't know what was going on in the practice field. You just don't know these things. You know what I'm saying? But he looks really good. Let me also say this. Utah is a really fucking good football team, dude.
Yep.
Because I know Florida ended up winning that game and scored enough to win, but Utah's defense is very good. He didn't put 400 yards up. Like he made some nice passes at the right. I think he threw for like 230 something yards or whatever the hell it was. Richardson. Utah's a good football team. They didn't get blown out. They were right in the game. They're winning the game at Ports. That's a good football team. It would not surprise me if they were to run the table the rest of the way out in the Pac-12 and still be in consideration. I think whatever Florida does moving forward will have an effect on Utah. Like if Florida has a good season, that loss, a close loss on the road week 1, doesn't look nearly as bad as if Florida ends up being a 500 football team. So that'll have a big effect. But make no mistake, don't take away from it that Utah's bad. Utah's a good football team. That's a really good football team.
Arkansas 31, Cincinnati 24. I didn't see a snap of this game, so I can't really talk about it. I know we covered the game by a half a point.
Yeah.
I don't know. Listen, Arkansas's quarterback, KJ Jefferson's going to be a very good player. We're still not sure about Sam Pittman, the coach. I got to tell you, though, we were down in Cincinnati. That's a pretty good – you hung in there on the road.
I thought they played fantastic. Yeah, I give Cincinnati – I thought they would get drilled. Their defense played very good. Even they threw the ball around a little bit. I tell you what, man. I don't know if he's going to stay there, but what Luke Fickell has built there in Cincinnati is real because they lost a lot of guys. I think it was 5 starters off that team, or maybe it was 8 guys drafted from Cincinnati this year, which is freaking bananas. Yeah, that 7 or 8 guys were drafted from Cincinnati. They did reload. They didn't. At least it doesn't look like they're taking this huge dip. To go into Arkansas, they were in that game from the beginning.
Yeah.
I mean, from the beginning. This was not like they were getting beat and then came back and made it look close. This was a close game the whole way. I was pretty impressed. I was actually very impressed. So I guess we can't write off Cincinnati as quickly as I thought we would.
Agreed. The yawner of the week, Iowa 7, South Dakota State 3.
And that 7 was not a touchdown, by the way.
You are correct.
Was it 2 field goals and a save? What the hell it was?
2 safeties and a field goal, I
think. 2 safeties and a field goal. I mean, for God's sake, folks, yawner, stinker, don't show up, that's pretty brutal. It's pretty brutal. There's nothing much more to say. And it doesn't look good for the rest of the season. If you're an Iowa Hawkeyes fan, who'd they play?
South Dakota State.
I mean, you can't, after that game, you can't be like, oh, but at least we won. We're gonna be all right.
2 funny things in the Iowa City paper the next day. One was they spelled Iowa without the O.
I love it. Which
is excellent. And the second one was they do the wave to the children's hospital.
Yes, which is so cool.
Somebody on Twitter goes, they made those poor kids watch that game. look.
I love it. It. By the way, one of the coolest traditions in college football, if you don't know, there's a children's hospital on the campus of Iowa, and what is it? At end of the first quarter?
Yeah. Yep.
End of the first quarter, all the players, everyone in the stands, God, I could cry just thinking about it. They turn and wave up to these kids that are watching the games.
They're on the top floor. It looks right over the field.
It's just fucking cool, man. So, but yeah, it must have been torture.
And they got the Cyhawk game this week, Iowa State. So they got to figure something out, and they got to do it quick.
Hey, you know what? They'll come out and score 35 points and win that game by 15, and we're going to be like, what the hell? So overreaction week 1 as usual. So any other games you wanted to bring up?
I got 2 more for you. 2 more quick
please.
ones. My old friend, the Appalachian State Mountaineers, whatever they're called. Dude. Wow, 40 points scored by themselves in the fourth quarter.
Almost did it again.
They almost did it again. Yeah, they fall 2 points short to North Carolina, who has a lot of issues on their own. My God. Goodness
gracious. Is that their second game?
Yeah.
North Carolina. They almost lost week 1. They were nip and tuck week 1 or week 0, I guess you would say.
They have some issues.
They can score some points, but lordy, they have issues on defense, man. And you can't score 50 every week.
The next one for you is good news and bad news.
Oh, boy.
Florida State 24, LSU 23. I mean, you were probably way asleep at that point. What a crazy fourth quarter.
It was.
Bad news for you. You got LSU team over wins, and bad news for you. Deion Sanders, a 1 week further away from coaching the Knolls. And good for you, your Florida State favorite team won a game. So a lot going on in that game for you, Coach.
I tell you what, there's a lot there to say. I'm not ready to say FSU is back. They're certainly not back as a national contender, but they looked good. They looked good. They looked, and what I liked more than anything, until frankly the fourth quarter, the reason I bailed on the game is because they were up by 2 touchdowns. Their defense looks fast and aggressive. Now it's just LSU, who's got a new coach, new quarterback. They couldn't get the ball to their top receiver Booty. He dropped a couple, and they just didn't get him that many looks.
And then he cries and deletes his Twitter. Well, come on, dude.
He said that was because he just wanted to he didn't want to see all the comments from people. I get that. Maybe that's true. Maybe it's not. Whatever. Yeah. There are a lot of questions LSU has to answer. There's still stuff that Florida State has to answer, but they looked okay. They looked pretty good. I'll leave it at that. I'm not ready to say they're all the way back because they're not. But they look pretty good. They look better. So we'll go there. And I agree with you. That doesn't give me great feeling about LSU getting the over. But I have faith in Brian Kelly. I think he'll do okay there. So
Michigan, Alabama, Oklahoma, Baylor, Clemson all win big, although Clemson was a little scary for a long time.
It was close for a while. And
you're right,
DJ is not good.
He's not good.
I'm sorry, he's just not good.
But their defense is, and Georgia Tech stinks. So they got to
win. Well, that comes back to what we said before. Is their defense good? I don't know. Because Georgia Tech is not good. And they scored some points on them. We'll see. They just gave Debo Sweeney a whole new contract, too. So he's going to be there for a while. By the way, did you happen to see the Ed Orgeron thing or hear what he said?
No, I did not.
Oh, my God. This is fantastic. So he's talking about getting fired. Now, if I could talk like Ed Orgeron, it would make the story way better. But he's talking about getting fired by LSU. And, they bring him in the office and they sit him down and they're like, Coach, we think we want to go in a different direction. We appreciate everything you've done. We will love the national championship. And he's telling us, he's talking like this. And he says, Then the athletic director says, you have a $17.1 million buyout, and we intend to honor that. And he goes, well, he said, how did he say? He says, what time do you want me to go, and which door do you want me to go out of? He was saying this in an interview. He's like, 17 points. What time do you want me to go, and which door do you want me to go out of? It was just pretty good. That was so him. That's such a him answer, and he tells such a great story. But it was just so funny because he's like, he literally said, some guys get a 20-year career, some guys get a 40-year career, some guys get 5 years in the limelight. He says that was what I got, and I'm okay with that. It was a fun run. He says I got nothing bad to say about LSU. But when they said they got 17.1 million, I was like, just tell me when you want me to go. That's it. He was ready to go. So I thought that was funny. He keeps he maintains a positive attitude, but I get the sense that just kind of the kind of guy he is.
Yeah.
So he's never going to be like this negative Nelly.
Week 2, not a great slate. A weird game here, dude. I got to tell you.
Talk to me. What do we got?
Alabama goes to Austin to play Texas at 11 a.m.
Yeah, I wanted to pick that one. I stayed away from it, but I wanted to pick it because Texas is one of the teams I think I took the over, like on as far as wins. I think they're going to be okay. I think they're going to be better. I have a little more faith in Sarkisian than you do. But it's fucking Alabama, dude. I think they're gonna smoke the shit out of them, but I don't know. We'll see.
South Carolina.
What makes you say it's a weird game? You got mixed feelings on what's going to happen?
No. I think 11:00 a.m. with those two schools. Like, who the fuck agreed to that? Like,
is that 11 Texas time?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, noon our time, 11 a.m.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Your boy Beamer Ball, South Carolina, and Mr. Rattler, go play the Arkansas Razorbacks.
Yeah. I may have a little something to say about that when we get to the bets.
Oh, really? Right.
I saw some good things from South Carolina last year. They weren't great, but they were really competitive and really physical. And they weren't always like that. So there's some things I've seen. You never know from year to year. So we'll see. But I may have a little something to say about that in Best Bet segment.
Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Very underrated ball game.
This is one that intrigues me so much because I think Pittsburgh's a little better than I thought they were even going to be. And I like Tennessee. And I think if I'm not mistaken, Pittsburgh beat Tennessee last year.
No.
They didn't.
Tennessee beat Pitt last year.
Tennessee beat Pitt last year, so there's some like reckoning there.
Oh, maybe you're right. I don't know. Let me see.
I thought it was.
They got me thinking about it.
I thought Pitt beat Tennessee last year. You gonna look that thing up? You gonna look that one up? Yeah, I think it was that Pitt beat Tennessee because I was like, well, Tennessee might be out for a little revenge, and I think they're improved. I love what Josh Heupel is doing there. And if you would have asked me before last week, no Kenny Pickett, no Addison at wide receiver, I thought Pittsburgh was going to struggle, and they looked pretty damn good last week. Although I also don't know how good West Virginia is. So
West Virginia,
Pittsburgh had won that game last year.
Yes, sir, by a touchdown.
And I think Tennessee might be out for a little vengeance there. Where's that game?
Heinz Field, or no longer Heinz, whatever the fuck it's called.
Yeah, the artist formerly known as
Three
Heinz
Rivers.
Field. I think it'll be a good game. That'll be a good game.
Couple more for you. Kentucky at Florida.
I may have a little something to say about that one too.
Me too. Let's save it.
What's interesting about this game is, Kentucky's not exactly known for football, but if you look at the last 2-3 years, they've had a pretty darn good football team. Last year, I think at one point they were 5-0, looking good. And they have a nice quarterback, Will Levis.
Penn State transfer.
Possibly top 10 draft pick. So they didn't play particularly great last week. Kentucky, they won it late in the second. They won it in the second half. It was kind of close in the first half. They pulled away in the second half. Levis had a pretty good game. Can Richardson do it again? That's what we're going to find out. And, should be an interesting game. That game's in the Swamp, though, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I may have a little something to say about that one, too.
USC at Stanford.
Well. USC did what I thought they would do last week, and I don't know what to think about Stanford right now. So I think USC is going to try to continue to put a stamp on these games, make a statement, and say, we're back, even though I don't think they're all the way back. I know Lincoln Riley had made some statement in USA Today that Scott Bracey of Bump and Run Sports Podcast thinks I'm overrated and that our team is overrated. So that might be motivation for him. But yeah, there's not much. Listen, the problem is there's not much out there on at the Pac-12 to get excited about. And USC is interesting. I will tell you that there was like a minor rumor that started swirling around Pac-12 about Urban Meyer. That maybe, I think Dan Patrick might have even started this rumor that it might be a good fit for him in Arizona State. I actually happen to think that is the perfect landing spot for Arizona State. Herm Edwards is already on the hot seat. If he gets fired, you know what the interesting thing is? It's a good enough job because he'll be able to recruit to Arizona State, no problem. But it's a kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a far enough away place that the major media eyes won't be on it.
Yeah.
So that he kind of can fly under the radar, even if just for the first year, maybe go have like an an 8-4 season first year, not have
Squeeze
too
a
many.
tush or two down there.
Yeah, it's hot. Kids are in their bikinis and stuff. You might have to just make sure everybody's temperature is proper.
It's
So
hot. He goes.
one rumor to keep your ears open.
I also heard Nebraska.
If I had him, I'd never go there.
No. Baylor.
Why would I want Ohio State to just beat my ass year in and year out? I'm not looking to turn that pro. I think the idea that like USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten, what's left in the Pac-12, dude, you can dominate. You can just dominate that recruiting. I think it's a nice landing spot for Urban Meyer if he wants to get. I don't know that he's getting back into coaching, but if he wanted to. Listen, there have been years where Arizona State is one of the premier programs in the country. Short-lived, but there are years when they've been very good. And when they're good, it's fun. Remember Jake the Snake was their quarterback. He ended up, play for. They went to the Rose Bowl. It's a fun place to have good football with the desert and the scenery and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's secluded enough where he might be left alone, just enough to build a program. So,
right.
That's what he's going to need. He's going to need a place that there's not a lot of eyes to start, but yet there's potential to grow.
And you just need a pulse to get in there, so that'll help.
Oh, for sure. Oh, they take him in a second.
One more. Baylor at BYU.
BYU's favored in this game, too. BYU is a good football team, and I only say that because to be favored over Baylor, Baylor's a good football team. So this might be – is this a night game?
Yeah, super late. I think 10
o'clock start, 10:30 start. This is the best. Yeah, it's the best part about college football is that you get a game like this late at night. If you love offense, you're going to want to check this game out because both of these teams can score. And it'll say a little something about what's going to happen moving forward, especially with the Big 12. But BYU, it's a strong program. So I know there were some talks about the BYU coach becoming the head coach at USC. When that was open. So anyway.
You want to pick some games, bro?
I do want to pick some games. I think there's some music that has to go along with this. Oh, yes, there is. Shall we start in the NFL or do you want to start in college football?
Let's start Saturday. That's the first day.
I like that. You want to go first?
I'm going to take the Kentucky Wildcats getting 6 points at the Swamp, and I'll tell you why.
You got balls.
Florida off a huge win.
Very emotional.
Everybody's giving Anthony Richardson the Heisman Trophy one game in Labor Day weekend. Everybody's kissing babies. Kentucky's no slouch. They're 2-2 in their last 4 against Florida. Mike Stoops has got that team playing some football.
And they play some decent defense, too.
Calipari keeps crying it's a basketball school. Slow down, John. And, dude, I got to tell you, I love when everybody loves after 1 week. That. Oh, my God.
You love going against the grain.
I'm not taking a money line bet here, but I think they hang around, maybe get a late cover.
As the great Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend.
Uh-oh.
Give me Florida minus the 6 against Kentucky. Listen.
You love Anthony Richardson.
I like what I saw out of Richardson. I like what I saw out of the head coach, Napier. I saw a guy there who was fully engaged and fully involved, and his team was responding to him. And I think that's what I like here. I think I like that even more than I like the quarterback. On the other side, what I mentioned about Kentucky, they didn't impress me. They were playing Miami of Ohio at home, and this game was 17-13.
You didn't want to show any juice, Coach.
17-13 at the half. You're like shitting your pants there, man. You're not, giving a lot of confidence to your fan base, and frankly, to me, I thought Kentucky was a little underrated coming into the season. That first game scares me, and I just think it's tough to go into the Swamp and just and win. So I don't know that they're going to cover by a lot. All they got to do is win by a touchdown. I think Florida wins this game by 7-8 points, 28-20.
Makes it sound so easy.
Yeah, I think if you look at the schedule, it's a tough week, man. It's a tough week to make picks of both college and pro. It's tough.
This next pick out of me is going to tell you how tough it is.
These games are tough, but give me Florida minus 6 over Kentucky. A Lee Corso special.
I just mentioned before to open the show that I was thinking about going out to the greatest university in the world and the biggest stadium in the world.
Ohio State?
The University of Michigan and the Big House.
Of course.
They will play the Hawaii Fighting Rainbow Warriors. I don't think they call them that anymore.
Minus
but
50?
That was a great game. I'm taking Hawaii plus 52.
Wow, look at you. It's a win-win for you because you don't have to root against Michigan to win the game.
7 touchdowns?
Hawaii just got smoked by Vanderbilt, though.
Late kickoff. Can you shut the fuck up for 2 seconds?
Damn it.
Late kickoff. Michigan's going to run the ball and run the ball and run the ball some more.
And they'll have no trouble doing it.
They never cover big spreads. In the 30 years I've been watching this team or whatever, they never cover big spreads.
Inside info.
And I had something else written down, but I can't read my writing. So I'm taking Hawaii plus 52 at the big house. Oh, Michigan, get in, get out, and let's stay healthy.
I think what Scotty was going to say was that he's at the bar over there. It's going to be like looking really, and that's the way the game's going to go. So
get some backups in is what I wrote. Get the backups in.
There you go. Listen, you're right that they're gonna want to run the ball, and they're gonna be able to run the ball. Vanderbilt trashed Hawaii, and that was in Hawaii, and that usually doesn't happen because
everyone's exhausted.
The teenage and young 20s kids are number one exhausted by the travel, and then they're kind of like taken aback by the scenery of Hawaii, and it's tough to get up for those games, and they smashed them. So Hawaii's not a good football team, so you might be honest, but they might play tough, and that's a lot of points. 52. The fact that there's even a spread is kind of bananas on that game, and that's the fact that you couldn't pick anything else but a 52-point underdog. That says a little something about what you know this week. My second game, you kind of alluded to it a little earlier. I got a little hard on for South Carolina for some reason, and I'm not fully sure why, except I just like what I saw last year. Toughness, grinding, physical football. I like their coach. And I like how they play. And did we really see a good Arkansas team last week? Or was it that Cincinnati is better than we thought, or is it just that Arkansas isn't that good? I'm going to lean more towards maybe Arkansas isn't as good as people think they are. Don't be surprised. I'm just saying, don't be surprised if South Carolina wins this game outright. I'm not calling for it. I'll gladly take the 8 points. Okay, I will gladly take the 8 points, but give me South Carolina plus 8, possible upset of Arkansas.
I like them too, dude. That's a good pick.
Okay, you want to head over to the NFL?
Let's go to Sunday.
Oh, it's about time. Here we go.
Coach, who do I despise that's playing quarterback in the NFL right now?
Like a good quarterback?
No.
A bad quarterback?
Who choked his chicken last year to blow a team the playoff spot?
Drew Lock?
I can't believe this isn't coming to you.
I don't know.
Carson Wentz.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah, for sure. You're going right against them, huh?
I love Doug Peterson with this young, explosive quarterback.
They're explosive already? You know that?
I think they're going to be explosive. I'm calling it.
Wow.
Well, at least maybe Sunday they're going to be explosive.
Just at least this week.
And when I mean explosive, I mean like 24/7. That's it. Jacksonville getting 2.5 points at Washington. Beat up Wentz in the last game last year. Remember, they beat up Wentz. They played the Colts to end their season last year.
Motivation for Wentz.
Have you heard a peep out of Jacksonville all offseason? Quiet, focused. Dude, just doing their job.
Good leadership.
And what's been watching? Owner crap, Wentz, the Del Rio talking crap about the White House. Dude, give me Jacksonville getting a couple of points. I think they went outright.
This is a team that won 4 games last year, and you got them going on the road as road dogs to win week 1.
Why are you looking in the rearview mirror? Look forward, sir.
Well, you got to use past performance. I mean, come on. Listen, I'm taking Carolina -2 over the Browns. I love the idea. This is so funny because I am one of those that did not particularly like Baker Mayfield with the Browns. Way too chatty, way too much to say. Just go out and play and let your play speak for itself, okay? And when people talk shit about you, just deal with it and go play better the next week. So I've been one to knock on him for 2 years now, all right? I was rooting for him out of college, and then he just talked too much, so then I was rooting for him to get shit on, and he did that. I think I'm back rooting for him again. I think this is a perfect spot for Carolina, okay? Jacoby Brissett is the quarterback for the Browns. they don't have any kind of wide receivers. I know they got a good running game, but listen, you got Carolina that has an up and coming defense. They know that the Browns are going to want to run the ball. They're going to be set for that. I think Carolina wins this game, and I could see them winning this game by 10 points. I think Baker Mayfield wants to make a statement, and I think there's a good chance that he may actually do it. Robbie Anderson might get a nice long touchdown pass here. Give me Carolina -2. Listen, it's a tough week. Week 1 is tough to pick games in the NFL, okay? Because we don't know shit. But I think just on pure adrenaline, give me Carolina. Matt Rule fighting for his job, wants to get off to a good start. Give me Carolina -2 over the Cleveland Browns, the Cleveland masseuse beaters. Oh my.
Well, I mentioned this game before, and maybe a sleeper kind of a game. We love Detroit. The world has fallen in love with Detroit. Eminem's at camp. Nobody is Detroit like Eminem, Coach Campbell said. He's got everybody coming. He's got eyeballs all over the place. And with that said, Philly goes in and spanks their ass.
Don't do it. You're doing it. Oh,
Philly's got a lot to prove. A lot of people end up picking to win the division. They got A.J. Brown. They got Younger on defense. A couple draft picks early on from Georgia. I don't think it's a blowout. I take that back. I think it's kind of a late cover, maybe a late field goal to win by 6 or 7. Philly -4.
You know, we talked before about Tampa and how much chaos and how much noise there was, and you just brought up like noise. We didn't hear shit out of Philly this offseason, right? Very quiet, business-like. I like that shit. I don't necessarily hate the pick, but I will be rooting against it hard. I'm rooting for Detroit hard on this one, so I don't like that one. Listen, I'm going to take the Cardinals +5 over the Chiefs.
I thought about that too.
Yeah, I'm not a Kyler Murray fan, and I just said to you, I think the Chiefs are going to be in the AFC Championship game again. But here's the thing. There does need to be – I think there's going to need to be some time for Pat Mahomes to get used to – some of these wide receivers, okay? Juju Smith-Schuster, like whoever he's going to be throwing to. He still got Kelsey, but I just think there's going to be some time, and their defense always starts out slow. They always have one of the worst defenses in the beginning of the year, and then they just make their adjustments and improvements as the year goes on.
Is Spagnuolo still there?
I think he is.
Yeah, I think he is.
I think he is. And that's what he does. They start off slow, they win games in shootouts, and then as the season goes on,
and they got to replace Honey Badger, man. That's not easy to do.
That's what I'm saying. So
he did a lot of jobs for them.
Yeah, so I take the Cardinals. I'll take the Cardinals. They're getting 5.
And to add to your point, when's Arizona good?
Early in the season, they started off 10-0 last year, 8-0, 10-0, whatever the hell they were.
Yep.
Give me the Cardinals +5 against the Chiefs. Maybe the Chiefs win the game, but give 5 points. I'll take that. Yeah.
For those keeping track at home, we were both 2-1 last week. Pete's loser was Ohio State. They came a little short for covering that game, and my loser, I got hammered in the ass late. Illinois should have won that game. They blew a field goal, and then they got stuffed on the goal line, and they lost. They lost by 3, and the other score 7 seconds left. So, that happens. We'll take it.
Special bet segment for you here. I asked you, Scotty, to come up with. Now, listen, we're going to look at NFL MVP candidates. There's nobody. There's no the favorite this year is Josh Allen. What is he like? +400, +600. There's no money to be made there. It's just a bad bet money wise. Like it's just not good. It's just not a good bet. So I said, what's a good bet? Looking at the odds and the potential. So I have 2 guys. I wanted to see what you ended up having there. So I'll let you start.
I got 2 guys as well.
Okay.
So before I give you my 2 guys, I got 1 quarterback and 1 running back. I think a wide receiver do because if Cooper Kupp didn't win last year, no one's getting this goddamn thing.
Correct. Because you look and you say if a wide receiver has an amazing season, that means his quarterback had an amazing season. The quarterback's going to get it before the wideout.
Agreed. So my first guy, +5,000. I went with Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh my God, that's bananas. +5,000?
+5,000.
It's a big number.
So if they're good, and he's good in the McDaniel offense and all the other crap, and Hill and Waddle and Gesicki and the running back by committee and all that stuff, Listen, he's gonna have a good year. If they're good, he's gonna have a good year. So plus 5,000, you throw $100 on that sucker.
I have a quarterback for the same reasons. Okay, I took and I like him, so this is not going to come as a big surprise. But I love the price. I say take $10 and put it on Derek Carr. You got $10 or $100. $100 wins you $2,500. He's plus 2,500 here. Here's a guy who 3 years ago or 4 years ago, whatever it was a real serious MVP candidate before he hurt his leg near the end of his last game, second to last game. Like he was had a real chance at winning MVP. Plus 2,500. We've both said we'd be a little surprised if the Raiders won their division or were top had a good chance of winning their division, but we wouldn't be stunned. Listen, they got Devontae Adams, they got Waller, they got the other kid, Renfro. They got the running backs. Like there's talent there on that team. They're going to score some points, and I think he's a good quarterback and he's a good decision maker. So to me, throw $10 on on Derek Carr to win $250. Yeah, I'll take that one.
I don't love this pick. I love the player. This pick is just going to be so hard because I think they're just not going to be a great team.
Got to have an amazing season if it's a running back. Yeah,
but he's going to get his opportunities. Cleveland Browns Nick Chubb.
Okay, that's interesting.
Plus 10,000.
You think that's a hell of a number?
It's a huge number. He's going to get a ton of carries.
You're right.
He's going to be involved in the pass screen game now again. They got Kareem Hunt too to give him some time, to give him a break.
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett's not great. He's serviceable. You want him to play 4 games, not 11.
Well, to your point, Chubb is going to have to carry the load for a while.
Yeah.
For a while.
Yeah.
And you say, well, it's no chance, but you're risking $10 to win 1,000. What is he? 10,000?
10,000
plus 10,000. You're risking $10 to win 1,000. I mean, that's but it's not ridiculous. I don't think it's ridiculous because let's say, stranger things have happened. Let's say they start the season off 8-2. Well, if they start the season off 8-2, it's because he's probably already got close to 1,000 yards. Like he's probably got 800 in the book already. And I will tell you what, if you were to put that bet in there, and they were somewhere like 7-3, 8-2 at that point, you could sell that bet. I forget the site that it's called. You can sell futures bets. If you look now, his number's 10,000. If they're 8-2, 7-3 at 10 games into the season, he's going to be like a plus 600. He's going to be, because he's going to have to be the one. He'll be the reason that they're like that. So if you think Browns have a chance of having a decent start to the season, he's going to be wise. So I think that's actually a pretty good thing.
Okay.
Kind of along the same lines, but I'm gonna go with Aaron Donald here because the idea being, these voters, they don't want the typical guy. They don't want Josh Allen. They don't want Patrick Mahomes. They would love. Now here's a guy, Aaron Donald, who won MVP of the Super Bowl. So, he's already on the radar. People consider him the best non-quarterback in the league. Some people look at him as the best football player in the league. Like we put so much weight on quarterbacks, which is understandable and accurate. But a lot of people look at Aaron Donald as the best player in the league. And if he goes bananas and has one of those seasons, people are looking for a reason to vote for somebody other than a quarterback. Plus 15,000, a $10 bet wins you 1,500. Is it likely? It's unlikely. But for a $10 bet, the odds there, that's what you're looking for. And is it possible? Yeah, I think if the Rams have another run and let's say he has double-digit sacks and tackles for loss and they're in first place and they're the number 1 seed, I'll tell you one thing, Aaron Donald will, at that point, if that's the case, let's just say, and this is nowhere near an absurd thing to be, let's say the Rams are the number 1 seed because they're first place in the West and he has double-digit sacks, he'll have better odds at that point than Matthew Stafford.
Yeah.
He absolutely will. So Aaron Donald plus 15,000. Yeah, I like that. Give me that one. That'll work. Is it likely? No, it's not likely. This is what we're talking about here. Like these things are not likely, but you don't want to just put money on Josh Allen because plus 600 is just not enough.
$60.
It's just not enough. It's just not a good bet. So
well, my friends, sad day. Hard Knocks has ended for the year, at least in the beginning part of the year. I'm gonna say some, and then you could jump in.
Yeah,
I
please.
think that last episode, dude, it really shows you
Gut wrenching.
how tough it is to end a guy's dreams. It was something.
It really is. It's really hard because, and I have to say that the guys that were cut, at least the ones that they showed on the show on this particular episode, a lot of class,
Dude.
They took it.
That was my next statement. And the respect that they give to Holmes and Campbell,
Yeah,
like what they're doing, they see what they're doing. Like,
God,
my God.
Most of these guys, like, I don't want to say they took it with a smile, but a couple of them did take it with a smile.
They did. Pimpleton did. Yeah.
And the respect that they have for Dan Campbell, I tell you what, man.
Yeah, it's something.
And to see the gut wrench that he went through to have to tell these guys, it's hard, man. When you see guys lay it on the line and you know you're taking a living away from somebody, it's a hell of a thing to watch. It really is a hell of a thing to watch. And a couple of them we already saw. One of them ended up on the practice squad. One of them ended up on the practice squad with the Giants, Pimpleton, the wide receiver. But it's a really hard thing to watch. I'll be honest with you. A couple times I had like tears in my eyes, like with some of these guys, like even the kid Blau,
David
Blau, you know, ends up getting picked up by Minnesota. Like he's at a rival team. And it's like, damn, like, okay, you don't even get to keep him.
And they caught him like, what? Like that was a little bizarre.
I was surprised. Yeah. But they picked up
Nate
Sudfeld, right? Nate Sudfeld, which, yeah, it was a little surprising.
And that's just cool. Like,
he
goes, he's in the middle of me. He goes, "Oh, hey, Nate. Oh, Nate's here, everyone. We signed Nate Sudfeld this morning." Like,
this morning, or last night, whatever
dude,
it was.
Like,
yeah. The other thing that like really kind of stood out for me, just in general, there are like 4, you know, I guess it depends on the team, but there are anywhere from like, we'll say like, again, depending on the team, anywhere from like 3 to maybe 8 guys on a team that are kind of untouchable. They have nothing to worry about, at least this season. You know, for Detroit, you know, Hutchinson's not going in. Nothing's happening to him. He's the number 1 overall pick. Goff's not going anywhere. You know,
St.
Brown wasn't going
Swift.
anywhere. Yeah, but there's basically like 45 guys that are just fighting daily for their lives and their livelihoods. Anywhere from 40 to 45 guys that are really like thinking almost like they're teetering on whether or not they're keeping their job. That's a hell of a thing, dude, to be an NFL football player. We talk, you know, I would think this show is dominated by football, and of the football we talk about, we mainly are talking about stars, you know, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, the quarterbacks, the wide receivers. You know, sometimes we talk GMs. Aaron Donald, like it's mainly the stars, but there's 53 guys on a team, man. You know, there's the stars, and then there's 40 to 45 other guys that are really the heart and soul of your team. And those fucking guys are fighting daily to keep their jobs. And it's just a hell of a thing. You think of as you're sitting there in your job, as you're listening to this, you might be on the way to work, or you just got done with work, or might be on your lunch break or something like that. Are you worried that your job's going to be there tomorrow? I mean, some of you might, I don't know, but I think most of us go to our job every day knowing that we're probably going to have our job tomorrow. You don't really have to worry about it, as long as you mainly do your job today. You can even mess up a little or loaf around a little and you'll still be at your job today. A lot of these guys come in every single fucking day or every game. And after each game, if they didn't have a great game, they go home wondering, do I still have a job? That's a hell of a way to live a life. That's all. I mean, I would want to live it. Give me a chance to be an NFL football player. I'll be there in a heartbeat, right? But that's one of the things that stuck out to me. How many guys on a team are living like on the edge, you know, or living on the edge?
When they asked Dan, and he couldn't even get a word out. He was rubbing his beard. You couldn't get a word out. He was so. And then when the lady came, the player.
Yeah, that last scene. Oh my God.
She comes out and she goes, "How you doing?" And he's like, you know, a little better today. So that goes to show you he was destroyed the day before.
I think he really loves his players, and I think the players know that he loves them.
Yeah.
Like, I think they love him too, but I think they know, and I don't know that this is always the case. This is a hard business, dude. And I got to be honest with you, as a high school coach, it's hard to like love your players because sometimes you have to pull them or they're going to graduate. In high school, it's different. Like they're going to graduate and move on. You're not going to get to keep them forever. God damn, at that point, it's such a business at the NFL level that you might have to cut these guys. I think he genuinely, truly, and genuinely, because he's a former player, I think he genuinely and truly loves all his guys. And I think he loved all 83 of them and appreciated all of their effort. To cut 30 of them, it's fucking hard, man. And you can see the gut wrench. I'm not saying that other coaches don't feel the same thing. I'm sure they do. Do I think Belichick goes through the same like turmoil that Dan Campbell does? I don't think so. I just don't. Do I think McVay at this point? I think he's enough of a professional. He's been through it enough. I don't think so. But for Dan Campbell, it's new enough. That feeling of Jesus Christ, I'm taking something away from somebody. I remember it being taken from me, and I don't like it. You know what I mean? I think that's why, because he's not far enough removed away from being a player himself. And a lot of those guys on that coaching staff were really good players. I think they all remember their last days, and I think they all remember like their careers ending, and they didn't want to do that. They didn't want to do it to these guys. So it's a hell of a thing to watch.
One more just about the show. 75% of the guys we were rooting for got cut.
Yes.
But Rodrigo, he made it.
Dude, and he looks like a really good player.
Deep, at least. Yeah, he's definitely in the 2 deep. He'll play special teams. Reynolds, they went with Reynolds over the guy when they're running
that was
back.
One of those that was like, man, they really pined over that for a while.
They went through the whole offensive room, and they're like...
You know what the funny thing is? They go through the whole offensive room, and I think the one that sold him was Aaron Glenn, who's the defensive coordinator, because he's looking at it from the other side of the field, and he's saying, I don't know if you want to let that guy go, man.
He goes, he's too fast.
He's too good. Yeah, that's what was funny to me. I'm like, Jesus Christ, of all the people that are selling this kid, the coordinator, the quarterback's coach, the running back's coach, like, I like this kid. The offensive line loves having him because he finds the hole. I end up thinking it was the defensive coordinator that sold the head coach on keeping the running back. Like, holy shit. Very cool. Very cool. And I'm happy for the kid. Yeah,
we'll talk about this midseason too. Now that I got you into Hard Knocks, now I think I'll be ready to go for the Arizona
I'm into the show. I think it was good timing for us.
And it was a good team too that you liked.
We kind of both were like, had this weird fascination and interest with Detroit, and it just happened to work out for us that was the team this year that was on Hard Knocks. I'm sold, so I'll be watching, and I'll probably end up watching the midseason one with the Cardinals, especially. God willing, please be some turmoil in Arizona in the desert this year for our sake. But it was cool. It was a really cool thing to watch. But that last episode was tough. It was tough. It's tough to watch these guys get cut, man. You know what it is, dude? I'm a Jets fan. I don't see practice. I don't see the locker room. I don't see the juggling and the singing of the songs in front of their teammates. You got a chance to really develop this rapport and relationship with these players on Detroit just by watching them, and then they got to go. Like, it hurt us.
I know.
It hurts us to watch them go. Like, this is bullshit. Like, they're supposed to be.
Yeah, like a year ago, like in the summer, Blau's watching his wife run the Olympics with his whole team in the room, and now he's gone.
He's gone. It's a hell of a thing. It's tough
life.
And
dude, and how eerie is it too? Like when you see every episode, there's 100 guys on the field running around, and then they show the 53. Gone. It's like they vanished. It's
half the room was empty.
It's eerie, man. It is.
Now Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, the Peyton Mannings, the great receivers, they have it good, man. It's a hell of a life that they have. But the rest of the guys, it's a tough existence. It's not easy. It's great. Not a single one of them would tell you they don't want to do it. And I would, in a heartbeat, I would love to be David Blau and just be a fucking journeyman. Like, I don't, but just have an opportunity. So I don't mean it like that, but it ain't easy. It's not easy. It's a lot of pressure every day. That's all. None of them would not do it, but it's a lot of pressure every day. It's just not an easy existence.
The New York Yankees have,
oh my God.
They are giving me a fucking heart attack right now.
Timing is a bitch, man. It's one thing to suck in April and May. It's another thing to just shit the bed at the end of August and September. So please, by all means, save us. Tell me that it's going to be okay.
More injuries. Staten Fazabolo for shin. That guy, I tell you, I don't understand it. I just don't understand it.
Dude, he's tissue paper.
And
you're talking about a guy who's like he's got muscles coming out of his ears, for Christ's sake.
And he's 4 more years of this shit.
So soft.
Benintendi breaks his wrist swinging.
Jesus, what the hell?
Broke his hamate bone in his wrist.
Is he done?
He's getting surgery on it. They said he might not be done for the year, but I don't know. It's September. I don't know. I don't see
That's
how
a
you
big
can come
ask
back
right
down
there.
4 weeks. Yeah. DJ LeMayu, 8 minutes ago, just goes on the DL with his foot issues. They thought he could play through it, but Severino, Nestor, Bader, they're all getting closer. I think Nestor's pitching tonight. Bader's the guy that they got with the Montgomery deal from the Cardinals, which is still the most asinine trade I've ever seen. You trade for a guy that's hurt, and you trade a guy away that's starting pitching on a good. It makes I don't know. They're up 5 now in the East. They're about 14.5 early July. It's a fucking crazy drop.
Who's in second, Toronto?
Tampa. They just don't go away. They are a pain in the ass. But the positive side of this whole thing is, and I'm guilty of it. I'm sure part of you is guilty of it. Bring up the young kids. Well, they brought up the young kids. They won 3 in a row now against the Twins. I feel like we haven't lost a game against the Twins, and it's just bizarre.
In 10 years?
Bizarre. 20.
Yeah.
They won 3 in a row. Oswaldo Cabrera, the game winner yesterday in the 13th or 12th crazy-ass first game that was. And then you get a good start out of Cole last night. Connor Falefa hits a grand slam. Hicks does something, finally, base-clearing double. And you get a little momentum going into tonight. And then you got Tampa coming in for the weekend. I'll be there tomorrow night for Derek Jeter night.
Nice.
Throwing out the first pitch and getting a replica plaque of him in Monument Park.
Very cool.
So that'll be very good. But I think they're going to hold on, but they're going to make you sweat.
I have 2 questions for you.
Okay.
I asked you this a month ago, and you said, yes, they still are. And I'm going to ask you this now because you just gave me like a list of injuries, like not looking good.
Go ahead.
I asked you a month ago. I'm going to ask you again now. Is this a World Series contending team?
No.
So
Not even close.
That's awful to hear, right?
Not even close, dude.
This team had the best record in the league for 3/4 of the season, and then just fall apart like a cheap suit at the end. That sucks.
I mean, with the 3 guys I just mentioned, and I left Anthony Rizzo off the list. That got an epidural in his back, and now has headaches. Right. I'm sorry, I left him off the list. If those 4 guys I just mentioned don't come back, what are you doing?
Yeah. Second question.
Yeah.
Does Judge get the 60?
He's got 55 now. It's September 8th. Yeah, he'll get to 60.
What does he have? How many games does he have to do it? About 20?
I want to say 26.
26 games?
Yeah, I think so. Because they play into October now, so I don't know.
Yeah. I think that I will say this.
Listen, he got intentionally walked twice last night, so it's happening. It's happening.
It could get funny. If they don't win the World Series, but he wins 60, he hits 61. 61 is a magic number, especially for the Yankees. If he hits 61 homers and they don't win the World Series, I still think people would be satisfied because they got that part of it. True or false?
Satisfied's a tough word.
Because you still got something special. I
gotta tell you, I wouldn't be satisfied. I would be happy for him, definitely, and maybe there might be a chance I'm there for it too, which is gonna be fucking awesome. I'd be happy for him, and then how do you let him walk?
Well, this is the whole thing. I mean, it's crazy. That's a whole nother issue.
And he's never going to have this year again. And I love the guy.
Well, that's the thing. You're going to pay him for this year, and it's never going to happen again. That's the fucking fucked up part.
Breaking news: Dwayne Brown got hurt.
Don't say that.
I'm looking at it.
I don't want. Can we end the podcast right now? I don't
want.
We'll
see you next week, folks. Happy NFL
70. Are you fucking kidding me?
I'm not. I wouldn't do that to you.
Shut up. Don't talk anymore. No, this podcast is over. And then I swear to God, 79s. Tell me. What do you got? I don't talk about anymore.
379s as Pete's pouring himself a
big
glass of something. Number 3, Super Bowl champion, Super Bowl co-MVP, 77 Defensive Player of the Year, 77 All-Pro, 4-time Pro Bowler, former Dallas defensive end Harvey Martin. I love the name. Number 2, only 22 years old, one of the best young defensemen in the league, all rookie in 2020. New York Ranger defenseman Keandre Miller. I got to a hockey guy in there once in a while.
God.
And number 1, 3-time All-Star, 2020 MVP, 2014 Rookie of the Year, 3-time Silver Slugger, White Sox first baseman Jose Abreu.
The story I wanted to tell you, I really needed to be in like a good, fun, playful mood to tell, but you just shit on the top of my head, and it was wet and gooey. It wasn't even like, a full form, nice.
Check, please.
S or banana shaped. It was just diarrhea on the top of my head. So I'm going to do the best I can with this story because it's an interesting little story. 19-year-old Brazilian mom has twin babies. Beautiful little story, right? And you say, well, what's the big deal? Well, the interesting thing is she just felt that there was something they weren't as similar as she thought. So she went and got a paternity test, and it turns out these twins have two different dads.
Oh no.
And she's like, oh, I forgot. I had sex with two different guys on the same day.
Oh,
We're talking about like a one in a multi-million chance here.
Dude.
That you can have two conceptions in the same day. Timing has to be pretty unbelievable on that. So this story got out, and Nick Cannon saw it, and I don't know. Nick Cannon has like 23 kids of his own by like 17 different women, and he was like, "Wow, I never did." He tweeted out, "Wow, never did that. Hold my beer." So like Nick Cannon is going to work on his twins with two different women in the same day. But how about that one, huh?
Tony, she was a hula.
Two in the same day. Yeah, it's one thing to have two guys in the same day. It's another one to get pregnant by either one of them. It's a whole nother one to get pregnant by both.
Kids, man. Good God.
How about that one?
Well, sorry for your Jets, and sorry.
I don't like you anymore. We're gonna probably shut this podcast down. I cannot do this week in and week out. I can't do it. Nice. I can do it. For Scott Bracey, I'm Pete Colasano. You've been listening to Bump and Run, and you might catch us next week.
Week 2 next week. Later.
Oh my God, I can't take it, man.
Dude, I'm not fucking.
Where did you see that?
It's on the bottom line of ESPN2 right now.
What did it say?
Shoulder.
You can play through a shoulder.
He's getting tested on.
You can play through a shoulder. Give me a break, man.
It's not good.
I keep this. It's just not fair. Like you're sitting here talking about Jacksonville. You already got picking Jacksonville week 1. You didn't even consider taking the Jets week 1. Oh, Jacksonville, they had a good offseason.
I consider picking the Ravens week 1.
Can't get your goddamn break, man.
It's not good.
And the only reason we don't have Trevor Lawrence is because the Jets decided to beat the Rams in L.A. as 17-point underdogs.
Oh, he'd have like gonorrhea now or something. Who knows what the Jets?
You're probably right. You're probably right. Some hookers would have shaved his head and he wouldn't have any talent if he's got no hair. Jesus H. Christ. What the hell, man? This cannot keep going on. I'm 49 years old. How many years do I have?
A lot. You got a lot left. You got a lot left. I don't know how many successful Jet years you're going to have left. But
I can't take it anymore, man.
I got the under, whatever it is.
Why would you say that at that time? I didn't want to hear that. Get your eyes off the television.
We break news.
All right.
And look, and your reaction made it that much better.
No, it didn't. Only good thing is we're having tacos for dinner, so it'll be okay. Good.
Make sure you get some Pepto-Bismol in the house.
And I'm going to go have another cocktail or 4.
All right, brother, man.
And it's Friday tomorrow, so. All right, dude. I'm going to get this out. I will get this out ASAP because I want to have it out for tonight.
All right, man. Sounds good. Dude. Later.